Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Looking to escape all the festive chaos? Turn holiday hecticness into harmony with Heyday, the mobile game that helps you harvest calm, one crop at a time. Reclaim your me time. Relax, decorate, and enjoy farming bliss as you tend to your animals and harvest crops as part of a welcoming, stress-free community. Join over 20 million players. Just tap or click on the banner now to download Heyday for free today.
Saffron has a notion. We can walk right in there, take the lassiter right off his shelf.
I'm confused.
You're asking yourself, if I've got the security codes, why don't I go in and grab it for myself?
No, actually, I was wondering, what's she doing on the ship? Didn't she try to kill us?
Please. Nobody died last time.
We're in space. How did she get here?
She hitched.
I don't recall pulling over.
Point is, this ain't no wobbly-headed doll caper. This here's history.
Okay, I got a question. If she's got security codes, why don't she just walk in and grab it herself?
Good point.
Well, look who it is. It's you, listening to another episode of Boys Watching Firefly. We're just two boys watching every episode of Firefly for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
Oh, we almost had one. Everybody. But today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 11, titled Trash, directed by Vern Gillum, written by Ben Edlund and Jose Molina. And this did not air in the United States in its original run. This is the first of 3 episodes that did not air in the United States. And yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit.
Man, I just do not get this. When did people discover this show?
I don't know. I kind of want to go back. I'm not going to, but I kind of want to go back and watch it in the order that it aired to see if it makes any fucking sense.
I mean, you don't even have to do that. You could probably just look at the titles and then use your imagination.
No, I want to experience it as the people experienced it, I think. But before we get into the episode, everybody, we have a shout out. Been a while since we had a shout out. We got to shout out our man Paul K, producer PK, sending us some Zoa energy drinks. I talked about them on the podcast a while ago. They are the Rocks energy drinks. They came in. We shouted them out last week, and like literally right after we were done recording the podcast, I stepped outside and saw a new package full of Zoas. One of them exploded in the package.
That one's yours.
Yeah, it is. It sat in my sink for a little bit. I'm going to drink it probably not on the podcast, to be honest with you. It's going to be flat as fuck. But yeah, man.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten more exploding packages.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Can we put grenades on our Amazon wish list? So yes, thank you so much, Paul K, producer PK. Also, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatching Buffy. We're finishing up Angel. Got 2 episodes left. Interesting stuff going on. There's some parallels going on between this episode of Firefly and Angel as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about this Angel episode. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Also, Christmas Day, we'll be releasing our The Long Kiss Goodnight movie podcast. So be on the lookout for that. And also just hop on Discord. We have a lot of fun conversations about the stuff. And that is also where we do our Firefly lyrics competition. We had More than one entry this time.
We had 2.
We had 2. We doubled our amount of entry.
Yeah.
But both of them fantastic. We had a battle of the heavyweights. We had Anzai, who has provided us with lyrics, I think, for the last 3 episodes.
2, I would say.
2. Anzai versus an OG tofu lover.
Mm-hmm.
We asked people who they thought won. We got 1 response.
2 responses. Someone messaged me on Discord too.
Okay. And the winner is Anzai wins again.
Yeah.
Sorry, tofu.
Yeah.
I liked tofus. I thought they were great. They were there was a fun little Google Translate thing that I did translate.
I did translate too. I would just like to, we're not going to perform yours, tofu lover, but keep trying because someone can dethrone Anzai. This will be,
I know.
This is the challenge.
Is
Anzai, yeah.
Is Anzai going to go wire to wire? Who knows?
Anzai from down under, from Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Reverse toilets.
But the tofu lovers, 2 little verses, it says, Google Translate the last verse, Mandarin Chinese, of course. And then it's in Mandarin. And if you translate it, it translates roughly to, I can't stand it anymore. Why did the hero call her a whore?
Yep.
It's great.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Very
Well done.
clever.
Well done.
Well done, tofu. But for this week, we have Anzai, and without further ado, Jayne eats apples with a knife. Wash wants Mal to fuck his wife. They both have time to elocute, while Niska's guys electrocute. Book is more than just a monk. Jayne keeps busy in his bunk. River shoots what she can't see, which scares the shit out of Kaylee. But you can't take my ear from me, 'cause Simon's good at surgery. There we go. There we go, everybody. Thank you, Vance. Thank you.
Oh, I was clapping for the lyrics. The performer should be fired. Fired out of the shuttle.
It's getting better. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at
I mean, by the time we finish this series, you'll nail it.
I know. This theme song that I can't stand. I know exactly what it is. There's one word that just sounds so much worse. It's when he says, "Take me out to," that "to the black." The "to" in there, it sounds so gravelly and weird, and I hate it.
And that makes you hate the whole
so
song,
much.
that one little line.
Yes. I mean, the whole song in general is just not very good. I think it's the song coupled with the weird, like, burned in, like, names coming up with the little, like, fiery.
I don't know. I just drive
just
around listening to this, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, God. I pray for you. All right. I'm opening up this energy drink. I'm doing the Monster Guava.
Oh,
I
respect PK, so I'm going with the cherry limeade Zoa. You know,
I know that
Joe
PK
was like, I can't wait to try these.
The Zoas are smaller than the Monster.
Apparently, he can wait.
The Zoas are smaller than the Monster, and I'm very thirsty today. I'm sorry. I also have to compensate because one of them exploded, and I took that one. All right, well, whatever. Trash. So this episode opens up.
Wait,
with
you're already jumping ahead.
Predictions.
Predictions. I just took a sip of the Zoa. I should probably say what it tastes like. It tastes like cherry limeade. Yeah.
Like a little Shirley Temple or something?
You know what it tastes like? It tastes like a fizzy Hawaiian punch, but not quite as sweet.
All right.
There we go.
Predictions.
I said the ship would get impounded when Wash leaves it. Joe said the same, and then said, but Inara was on the ship.
Wow.
Interesting. We don't get impounded ships, but we do get visuals of Inara and a ship and trash. It's not it. It's not
I
it.
give a 0%.
Oh, 0%, but yeah.
Okay. So, speaking of Inara, this episode opens up with basically a whole recap of Inara's character and who she is and her dealings and how she feels about everybody on the ship. We get a recap of who River is and Jayne betraying Simon and River on Ariel when he tried to cash in and get some loot for turning in the fugitives. So we open the episode with Mal just naked in the desert, sitting on a rock, and he says, well, that went well. And then we cut to 72 hours earlier. And Mal is unloading some supplies, is making a drop for somebody, and he meets up with his old buddy who's there, his friend Monty. Monty's there to greet him. He's this big burly guy. They have a good camaraderie. Monty's like, oh yeah, I had to shave my beard because the old lady didn't like it. And Mal's like, you got married? Monty, I can't believe that number one, you shaved your beard, and number two, that you shaved your beard for a woman. I thought that you'd never get married. And he's like, yeah, you gotta meet the missus. Hey, Bridget, get over here, Bridget. Come on over here, Bridget. And who is Bridget but Saffron? Christina Hendricks comes around the corner. Mal immediately pulls a gun on her. She pulls a gun on him. And Monty is like, so I guess you two have met?
Yep.
They get into a little tussle. Saffron kicks Mal's gun from his hand. They're fighting, they're kicking, they're fist fighting. Mal is just like slamming her head into the ground, and Monty is just standing there like, hey, come on. Hey, guys, come on. For like a good portion of this fight.
Monty does nothing but comment on the fight like he's an NPC. It's insane. He's just, guys, stop it. Guys, enough. You know, your friends, stop it. Oh, like,
that's my wife. Bridget, stop this.
Like, he won't
Stop
move.
This.
He's not like putting a hand on anything.
No. This fight goes on for a while. They're kicking, they're punching, they're pulling guns, they're choking each other, they're slamming, they're tackling each other to the ground, they're choking each other, and Monty's just standing there like, oh, guys.
Yeah. Mal uppercutted the shit out of her, and if you don't step in then, like, what are you waiting for?
Right? I mean, eventually he does after a good 3 rounds of fighting.
Yeah.
Monty had to step in for the championship rounds.
Once he heard the bell, he had to break it up.
Yeah. So he's like, what the heck is going on here? Why are you two fighting? And Mal goes, that's not your wife, my dude, because that's my wife.
My wife?
She's and she's married to me. And Monty's like, that can't be. And Mal's like, no, it can be. I was on some dusty planet. I accidentally got married to her. And then she tried to rob me of my ship and leave me for dead. And then Monty's like, I don't believe that. And then Bridget, a.k.a. Saffron, goes, yeah, you're a real scumbag, Malcolm Reynolds. And then Monty goes, I never told you this guy's name. And then Saffron goes, whoops.
Yeah.
And then Monty takes his ship and leaves, cursing Bridget on the way out. He's like, I shaved my damn beard for you, woman.
Yep.
And so his ship flies away, and we're just left with Saffron and Mal pulls a gun on her, and she tries to woo him. She tries to use her feminine wiles, which we talk about a lot in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to use her feminine wiles to get to Mal. Be like, oh, come on. You don't want to do this. You want to fuck me. You saw me. You saw how hot I am. And Mal's like, I'm not buying it. Get to stepping. And she's like, well, if I get to stepping, then you won't know about this frickin' job that I know about that pays out a bajillion space credits or whatever. And then Mal's like, I don't care. Get to stepping. And then she starts walking away, and then she turns around. She's like, I mean, I can let you in on the plan. And then Mal like shoots at her feet, and he's like, I'm not fucking around, dude. But it turns out Mal is fucking around.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Based off of this scene.
He's not fucking around. Yeah. I did like that he started shooting at her to get out of there. Threw her lipstick away.
Oh, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
You and lipstick don't mix too well together from what I remember.
You know he went back and got it and put it on himself.
Yeah. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
The interesting thing about the lipstick, to be nitpicky, is how would it poison other people and not yourself?
It's like that, do you remember Batman and Robin or whatever, where Poison Ivy kisses Batman and Robin?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're under her spell? I'm guessing it's something like that, but that wasn't lipstick.
No, she's like...
And that was like some kind of plastic covering on her lips.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she has to... You can't let it touch your skin, too. Like, every part of a kiss would be equal. So it's not like... Unless she spent years building up an immunity to it.
Maybe. Or she just is like pruning the whole time. Like her lips are just outward the whole time.
But once she kisses, it's gonna...
Yeah.
It's not a real nitpick, just something to bring up. Like,
not a deal breaker.
No.
So yeah, Mal returns to Serenity. He's all bloody nosed and bruised.
What did you think about the bloody nose all of a sudden? Did it feel like we missed a scene? Did it feel like we missed something?
Well, it didn't until we see Saffron later. And then it's like, how is she not bruised and bloody?
But we've watched him have a whole scene without his nose bleeding.
No, because remember when he's telling Saffron to get to step and he pulls out a hanky and he starts like putting it on his nose. So
yeah, but then it goes immediately to the scene after this and he's like completely fine again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt very cartoonish. Like we have to show that he's been beat up to a bloody nose. But I'm like, he could just be a little swollen. He did take 5 kicks to the face.
Yeah. But so he returns to Serenity. He's all bloody. And everyone's asking him, like, what happened? I thought you and Monty were friends. And Mal's like, I don't want to talk about it. Then Wash comes down and he's like, hey, Inara has been looking for you. And Mal's like, all right. So he goes to Inara's room, her shuttle. She's making tea. And Mal's like, what's this all about? And she's like, I just want to have a conversation about business. And Mal's like, no, you're trying to use your feminine wiles on me. I see the tea. You asked me to come to your room, which has never fucking happened. Like, what's going on here? This is suspicious.
Just take the win, Mal.
Right? But Inara is like, look, I'm here. I'm discussing business. I am not your lover. I'm not your mother. I'm not involved with you in any way. So this is strictly a business relationship. And I haven't had a client in over 3 weeks because you keep flying to these dusty ass bullshit planets. How am I supposed to fucking get a client? And Mal is like, dude, I don't know if you realize this, but we're fugitives. We're trying to stay off the radar. We don't want to get picked up by the Alliance. We also are harboring Simon and River, who are like mega fugitives. Like, I'm sorry, but this is where we gotta go. And Inara goes, well, you could find work on a legitimate planet if you really wanted to. What was your biggest job recently? Wasn't it the hospital on Ariel? And Mal's like, well, yeah, but we get good jobs outside of that. And she's like, no, you don't. The biggest job you had outside of that was some baby doll scam.
Yeah, some dolls with giant heads or geishas with giant heads. And he's like, people love those geishas or whatever.
And he's like, sorry that our business isn't getting in the way of your whoring. And then she's like, oh, of course you'd say it. Of course. And then she calls Mal a petty thief. And Mal's like, oh, how could would you?
She calls him a whore. He calls her a whore every day. She says petty thief, and he's like, my word.
Oh, you think I'm a petty thief, huh? Hi. Fuck you. He gets all offended. Are you kidding me?
know. Yeah.
But she's basically accusing him of not going for more serious work because he wants to keep her on the ship and not getting clients because there's some kind of something going on between them. And I was like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, she kind of accuses him of it and then says, I'm not accusing you of it.
Yeah.
She's like, well, are you? And then she's like, well, I'm not doing this. Like, well, which one are you going for? And my biggest question with Inara is, why are you on Firefly? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you on? You don't want to do the crimes. You don't want to be involved in them usually. Like, I don't get it. Like, she doesn't want to rob stuff, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, she's like a legal, like, agent of the government.
Yeah. It's one.
And she's traveling around with these rapscallions.
Like, it's one thing if she was, say, like an FBI agent, but she's hanging out with the cartel or something, and she's like playing both sides of something. But it's not that. And it's not like she had to be on this ship because she has a secret past that we know about. It's just, I don't get why her being on Firefly is beneficial to her.
Unless it's that deal that she struck with Mal in that flashback where she's paying a quarter of the price that he asked for.
But she can't do the job. So
yeah.
It's like she could afford more if she was actually... I don't think she has any trouble getting clients. She seems like she's probably like top 10%. Yeah, I just don't know. I just need a little bit of explanation of why she's there, and I'd be fine.
So Mal takes this petty thief comment to heart, and he storms off out of Inara's shuttle, and he goes down to a crate, and he opens it, and who's in there but Saffron? And he's like, all right, Saffron, tell me about this fucking job you got.
Oh boy, the fragile male ego.
Yeah. Nice little twist, I feel like. I didn't expect to see Saffron again.
I didn't expect to see her again when the episode started. But then once she was in it, I was like, well, she's a part of this episode.
Also, I will say that I am going to be calling her Saffron.
Oh, absolutely.
The whole episode.
Yeah, same.
She has multiple different aliases throughout this episode. I'm just calling her Saffron.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back from commercial, and Saffron is laying out the job that she is going to give to the Serenity crew. She's going to rob some super soldier guy, rich dude named something Hamer.
Doron Hamer.
Doron Hamer. They're going to rob him because he has one of the original laser guns.
Laser pistols. Pew, 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 pew. Before we see this gun later, so it's interesting that the original laser gun looks more like a sci-fi tech, and then they were like, "Oh, let's make the laser guns look more like revolvers." Like that's how the technology went back.
I will say, when Mal shoots at Saffron's feet, it is a gun sound. It's not a laser gun sound.
But when he points, it makes that sound.
Yeah. But like when he shoots, it's like the pow.
Yeah. They sometimes
it's
put a little
pew pew like we've heard.
Sometimes they put a little like sting at the end of the sound effect that has like a little laser trail off to it. But that gun he has is a pistol laser. I don't know, man. It's so weird.
Is this our invitation rules for Firefly?
Yes,
where
100%. Why don't they get that the guns are laser guns? Start getting emails. When do you guys figure out what laser pistols are?
But yes, this guy has one of the original laser pistols, And it doesn't work very well. It's under high security, but it's worth a lot of money. She has the layout of the estate and entrance codes and stuff. And Wash, she's like, all right, well, that's the plan. We're going to rob him of this laser gun. Does anybody have any questions? And Wash raises his hand and he goes, yeah, why is she here? Why is she on our ship? Fair enough.
Yep.
Then the question that Saffron presents is like, I guess what you're probably going to ask is, if I have all the schematics and the plan laid out, why do I need you guys? And then Wash goes, why are you on our ship?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jayne goes, okay. So if you have all the schematics and the layout of this place, why do you need us?
Yeah.
And she's like, great question. And then jealous ass Inara shows up. And she's like, I don't think that we should trust this lady. I don't think we should trust her. She'll sell you out. She'll betray us the second that anybody turns their back on her. And then Mal goes, oh, well, if you have some better work that you know of, something that maybe isn't, I don't know, petty, you want to let us know? You want to fill us in? And then Inara rolls her eyes and she's like, ugh. She leaves.
Now, the petty thing is such a audience thing, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is really well done. And I get it what they're doing here, but it's a little writer cheat.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Inara would know that Inara and Mal know what's going on with that.
Yeah, but that line doesn't, him saying that, we'll come back. I'll come back to that petty line because it wouldn't have the weight anymore.
Yeah. So Inara leaves. And then Mal looks over at Zoe. And he's like, Zoe, what do you think of the plan? And Zoe's like, I'm with Inara, to be honest with you. I don't think we can trust this lady. She's a backstabber. But, yeah, let me just punch this motherfucker out. She punches her out. And then she goes, all right, well, I'm in. Just don't turn your back on her.
There was something with Zoe when Saffron was telling a story about this guy Duron Hamer, and she was like, he would go into towns and villages, wipe them all out and steal their stuff. And they had a close up of Zoe, and I was like, oh, did that happen to Zoe's town? Like, is this going to be one of those like Star Wars things? Princess Leia blew up my planet kind of thing, and she's going to be like, they're going to get really close to stealing this thing, and then she's going to want to kill him because that's how she ended up fighting against the Alliance or whatever. I was like, okay, this could be interesting. Yeah. But none of that happens. But they do have a close of it when she's hearing that, which, language of film.
I think that Saffron also makes some kind of sassy comment towards Zoe about like, oh, you finally figured it out or something. And that's when Zoe like punches her.
Zoe punches her when she just stands up and she's just talking to her. It's just out of nowhere, really. But this is when they were sitting down.
Yeah, I could have sworn that Saffron said some kind of sarcastic comment.
She said, you'll be really rich or something.
Yeah.
It was something like, just do the job and then you'll be really, really rich.
Yeah. I did but again, like Mal's showed up all bloody but Saffron's completely fine, even though she took some punches to the face. Saffron's fine after this punch.
I try to avoid getting punched in the face a lot, but the nosebleed happened real late after he had a whole 10-minute conversation with her.
Yeah. So we then go to Jayne telling Simon and River the plan. And he's like, yeah, we're going to go do this job, but Mal thinks it's probably best if you guys stay put on the ship. And River is there, and she's like, I don't trust Saffron. And then Jayne says something like, yeah, I don't trust any woman. Women are fucking untrustworthy pieces of shit. And then River goes, yeah, but Jayne is a girl's name. And then Jayne goes, don't you ever bring up that that's a girl's name.
I spell it with a Y.
And And so after that little sassy back and forth, Jayne leaves, and River and Simon, they're just going to sit there and they're going to be bored. And then River says something about like, he doesn't want us to know. And Simon's like, know what? She's like, ew, he's hiding something he doesn't want us to see. Speaking in riddles, I guess.
She hints at, like, she says he's afraid. And he's afraid of what? Afraid that we'll find out. And then Simon goes, huh. All right. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about already.
Yeah.
I knew River knew. I knew River knew.
Yeah, of course River knew. River knows all.
I'm surprised she didn't say anything more straightforward before.
She can't. She feels everything.
She can say it, though. She has never held back when she talks to Book. Oh, you're going to freeze to death, and you'll freeze to death before you run out of air.
Yeah.
The Bible's wrong. But Jayne, she's like, I'll play the game. I'll tease him. I'll say Jane's a girl's name.
So then we have Zoe meeting up with Inara. And Inara, again, she repeats, hey, I don't trust this Saffron lady. And meanwhile, Saffron is over in behind a door, and she's listening in on this conversation.
Not subtle at all. She's like got her head against like that little circle window in the door, and her face is like filling the whole thing up. Like
she's breathing on it like the raptor in Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Clever girl.
But Zoe's like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll have my eye on her. If she tries anything, I'll punch her out again. You saw me do that. And besides, Mal won't trust her either. It'll be fine. You got any clients lined up? And Inara's like, I got fucking 3 clients lined up on this plan. It's going to be great. And Zoe's like, oh, that's great. Well, here's what the details of the plan are. And Inara's like, I don't want to know any details. I don't want to know any plans. I don't want to know anything that's going on with this job. Keep me in the dark. And Zoe's like, oh, okay.
All right, fine. You don't want to know anything. Fine.
So Inara leaves. Zoe leaves. Mal calls out to Saffron. He's like, hey, you get over here. You're going to help me. So he's like, don't you? I'm not taking my eye off you.
Except for when I turn my back on you all the time.
Like constantly walking in front of you.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Insane.
So Wash lays out, they're going over the plan. Wash lays out that this planet has all kinds of security. Mal and Saffron are going to take a shuttle to the landing zone where Saffron has the like landing code or whatever, so that they're not going to be suspicious. They're going to blend in with the hired help because Hamer's having this big party, and they're going to sneak in. They're carrying these gigantic flowers, and they're going to steal the gun, put it in the garbage disposal because Kaylee figured out that the garbage disposal shoots it out into these garbage dumpsters that get taken away like every 10 minutes, it seems like. How much trash is this place fucking?
Well, it seems like the person that dumps the trash can just randomly hit a button and call a ship that will take an apartment-sized trash bin away.
Yeah, it's like a shipping crate.
Yeah. And it seems like that would come like, you wouldn't hit a button to call for it. It would be like, okay, it picks up on this day or this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like it replaces it immediately, does it? It seems like it takes it away.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's replaced, but I was just amazed at the frequency in which these ships are taking the trash.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like every 15 minutes or something. It's like crazy. But that's the only way they can get the gun out because it's tagged with all kinds of security measures. And if it leaves, it'll start sounding alarms if you walk through a single door.
Okay.
So that's the way that they're going to do it. Kaylee's going to tell the disposal bin ship, she's going to reroute it to a place called Isis Canyon. And that's where it's going to drop off the garbage. And that's where Serenity is going to swoop in, pick up the gun, And then they're off with the priceless item.
Mm-hmm.
Fun times to see a heist going down again.
This is how you do heists. You plan it out, you tell the audience what they're going to see, and obviously things go wrong.
Yep.
It's a tried and true method.
Yep.
Better than the train job where you just do the job.
Yep. And everything goes pretty smoothly.
Yeah. And you don't know what the job is or how they're going to do it, but they just do it.
Yeah. So Mal and Saffron, they're going around the Hamer estate, and Wash is putting Jayne and Kaylee in place so that they can reprogram the disposal bins. And Mal and Saffron arrive at Hamer's room and they see the gun. Jayne and Kaylee, they're trying to install some kind of CD type thing so that they can reprogram it. Jayne gets electrocuted and falls over, and then now it's up to Kaylee and Zoe to install this thing. Meanwhile,
and let's not forget, Wash is really struggling to get the ship level.
Yeah. Get it level, god ram it.
we need more elevation. He's like, oh, it's so
Keep
hard.
her steady, god ram it. He's just holding on to that fucking Xbox controller.
There's no wind in space. It's too much. There's too much turbulence on planet.
Yeah. So while Mal is starting to decrypt the security measures around this gun, Saffron's like, I hear somebody coming. And who shows up but this Hamer guy? And he looks at Saffron and he goes, Yolanda, you're back. And Mal rolls his eyes because this is another mark of Saffron's.
Now here, I have two things. One, I want to say the room that they're in, I thought it was going to have a lot more stuff in it. They're like, he walks in and Mal's like, whoa. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And there's kind of like a garden. The laser weapons like in the middle. And then there's some stuff in the background. And the one thing I noticed was there's an old phone booth that you see right away, which I thought was funny because it's a relic even today.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know it's supposed to be even more important 300, 500 years later. But I thought it was going to be a lot of old stuff from like 90s and 2000s stuff that he would just have. I thought they would just dump a bunch of like props in that room and they'd be like, oh, he collects
like a pog.
Yeah, it's a pinball machine or like just a bunch of random things. There's a slinky in a frame, like just dumb stuff like that.
He's got a slammer. He's got some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah. Like I don't even want to go like too far back like Teddy Ruxpin or anything. Just
yeah.
Like he could have a PlayStation 2 just somewhere, just something like that. But instead it's a gun and then it's that phone booth. And I'm like, oh, they just need more stuff. He could have two phone booths, like the London one. They're on a set. They can just wheel that thing over, throw it in there. It's fine.
Yeah, go Nicolas Cage, get a fucking T-Rex skull.
Yeah. Yeah, just
some more stuff.
I thought it would just be a really like, this guy is a collector.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing is, when he shows up, I was like, how many people is she married to? And what does being married mean in this world?
Yeah.
Because
I have no idea.
Because marriage is just like a license that you get, It's really just something like, it doesn't really matter if you go to even if you go to a different country, you're like, I'm married in the US, but it's like, you're here. Like it doesn't really add any more judicial stuff when you go to a different country. Like if you go to Russia, but you're married in the US, they don't really have to acknowledge that necessarily. So what is each planet like, what, like, you know what I mean? Like what does it mean to be married on?
What's the legality of all of this? Like
marriage is a legal document. So so it really makes me question.
I don't know, man.
I bring this all up just because I don't understand Zoe and Wash's. Like, where did they get? What is their marriage? Is it like a ship marriage? Like, if you're like a pirate, like a captain of a ship is allowed to marry people? Like, how did that? Like, are they married throughout? Are they alliance married? You know what I mean? Like, are they recognized
yeah.
throughout the alliance, which they wouldn't do? So where's their marriage recognized?
Yeah, I mean, also like the planet where Mal and Saffron got married, like there wasn't any like documents signed. Like Mal didn't even know he was married. Like, so what's the? Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't really matter, but it just made me think about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because she would legally be like married to this guy because he's like alliance in. Like the alliance would run her real name and be like, "You're still married to this guy."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well. Yeah, he seems pretty high up there. He would want to do things the official way of like, hey, but then she has to have all kinds of fake IDs and everything, which, you know, she would have.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, he's excited to see his quote unquote wife, Yolanda, once again.
She ain't no Yolanda. Saffron we can buy.
Saffron, yeah, that's like, that would be her stripper name because she's redhead.
Yeah, but Saffron could also be like the name of that person from that planet too. Like you could see that, like named after
Saffron,
like a flower.
Her stripper name would be Saffron, Cherry, or Scarlet. Like that's the three you got if you're a redhead. Like those are automatic. That's what your name is.
She could be like the Bridget I was buying. You know,
Bridget I could buy. Yeah. Yolanda's a little tough.
I did love it.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
So we go back to Serenity where Jayne is being taken back into the ship and Book catches him. And Book is like, oh my God, this man, he weighs a ton. He's so heavy. He's large.
Okay, we got a book sighting. Drink.
Yep. Yeah.
Sometimes he's just in the episode for one little scene.
Yep, and that's basically all the play Book gets in this one.
You would think he'd be part of the heist again. He's shooting people in the kneecaps last episode.
He was in the last one.
He was shooting kneecaps. And this one, he's like, well, I don't want to go on this heist to steal stuff, maybe. I don't know. What is he doing? He's obviously around.
He's more than just a monk. Jayne keeps busy in his bunk. There you go. But yeah, Book takes him over to Simon and he's like, is he going to be okay? Can you work on him? And Simon looks down at him and he's like, yeah, I can do some stuff with him. I can work on this guy. Oh, you think River's fucked up in the head? Wait till I'm done with you.
we just hear metal stuff. You're just sharpening tools. Zing, zing, zing.
So we go back into Hamer's room and Saffron and Hamer, they're reconnecting and he's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm so happy that you're back. It's been 6 years. And he looks over at Mal and he's like, my God, thank you for bringing her back to me. Let me give you a reward. Let me give you some money. And Mal is like, no, I don't need any money. And I'm like, bro, take the money, dude. Like, if he's offering to take
he's an honest thief.
Dude, just take the money. Or be like, I don't need any money, but this gun, I would enjoy that gun.
I thought about asking for the gun when I was watching. I was like, could he pull that off? I'm like, that's just a little too forward.
Yeah, I will say that's a little far. But maybe just get the money equivalent of the gun or something.
But I wouldn't be like, man, this is some cool stuff here. Wink, wink. And like, you can't ask for it, but like.
Bro, here's what he needs to do is he needs to take the money and then ditch Saffron.
It's all moot anyway, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Saffron makes up some story about how she was like sold to slave owners and she was on this like slave planet for 6 years. And then Mal is like in the background just rolling his eyes and being like, I'm not a slave owner, by the way. That's not me. I didn't do that. And she says something else horrible. He's like, I also didn't do that. But then she kisses Hamer. They have a passionate kiss. I thought the Hamer was going to pass out. I thought she was going to have that like,
no, he threw it away.
Pass out.
Or he didn't throw it away. He literally threw it a little bit away from her, and then she probably could have just walked back and picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Hamer's like, no, I have to go get some money for you, sir. Thank you for bringing my wife back. I'm going to leave. And so he walks out of the room, and then Saffron's like, quick, we got to get this fucking gun stat. And then Mal's like, I'm working on it.
Yeah, Hamer mentions that she left like 6 years ago, and the same day as this guy Heinrich who left.
Yeah, his brother. Yes,
Was that his brother?
Heinrich was killed.
I don't know if it was his brother.
I thought that it was.
I thought it was a guy that he would work with. I don't know if it was a brother. Yeah, I think if it was a brother, it would have been. Right. If it was a brother, it would have been a bigger deal. I don't think it was a brother.
You
it was
could
like
be
some
right.
guy.
But this Heinrich guy was killed.
Yes, they found him. They found him dead.
Yeah,
or something. Yeah. So Mal is thinking, oh, she did it.
Yeah. So Mal's tip-tapping away at this security thing, and he eventually breaks through it, gets the gun, and as soon as he grabs the gun, he's like, all right, I got it. He turns around, and Saffron's got a laser gun, like her pistol pointed at Mal's head, and she's like, wow, you really are the biggest dumb dipshit in the entire world, aren't you?
He had his back to her and was just monologuing to himself, like, about her. And I was just like, what are you doing, guy?
Yep. So then as she has the gun pulled on Mal, Hamer returns. And then Hamer's like, what the hell's going on here? And Mal is like, hey, she's not who you think you are. And she's like, yeah, I'm not who you think I am. And Mal, like, while Hamer and Saffron are having a conversation, like, sneaks around the back and throws the gun in the garbage. So he's still got the plan going.
Hits the button that calls the ship to come and get it.
Yeah. And then Kaylee's like, she can't reach the place to install the new directions, but then she eventually does at the last second as the ship is coming to take away the trash. So
yeah,
we got that going, that little non-tension moment.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll make it.
Then Mal pulls a gun on Saffron, and then we have a little like Mexican standoff situation.
Well, he's got
Hamer can't believe
he's got it from his flowers. They were walking in.
Yeah, right.
Because Hamer's throwing a party today, apparently. So they were able to sneak in by just carrying flowers. And I guess they just kept guns in their flowers because there's no security. There's security if a gun leaves, but there's no security to know if weapons are coming in or out. But sure, whatever.
Hey, man. They're white and confident. They can get in anywhere.
Yes.
Just look like you belong. Act as if.
So he's like, should I go into the planet? Like, no. This is an Alan Saffron.
This place is going to be crawling with cops. I don't think it's the best place.
Has there been like any overt racism or like in the show? Like, have we met bad guys that don't like people because of the way they look? It doesn't seem like it.
Not that I can recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly, not a lot of Asians for as much Chinese as they speak.
Right?
I would like just scatter a couple more across the casting, you know?
I mean, there's not like overt racism. There is that like, you see the systematic racism, like when they went to that fancy ball and it was literally just all white people.
Yeah.
For as much as they talk about how like Buffy was a really white show, I mean, this outer space show, also very white. We got Zoe. We got Book.
Already you've doubled up. Yeah, two leads. I mean, you look at the landscape of TV, then it was like white and then one.
Yeah, they doubled up Angel. Buffy. Yeah, Buffy is tough. And Kendra.
Oh, God. Kendra, they did. The fact that they had her have that accent is a travesty.
Yeah. Then there's the girl that everybody hated in the last season.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Rona. She had some points.
Rona. I keep wanting to call her Mona for whatever. Rona. Whatever. Who cares? That was a whole series ago.
We're watching Firefly now. We're watching Firefly.
Yeah. All Buffy thoughts escape the brain. Mal.
It has ruined us. That show is like leaking out.
Yeah. I mean, we also did Girls, which was an incredibly white show.
But we didn't, we don't like bring up Girls to compare stuff to a lot now.
Yeah, we definitely don't. Yeah.
No, I think the show is like, it has the diversity that shows of this time had on TV. It's like, I'm not putting that. It's just that you would think there would just be more Asian people considering, or just Chinese, just considering how much Chinese is spread throughout to kind of allude to like, hey, they took over for a while and all this. What did they do? Did they banish them?
Yeah, there has not been.
There's been
any Asian people?
When they went to that planet and River was dancing, there were like a couple. And there's been a couple, but like we haven't even had one like higher up guy that's Asian or something. Just
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'd just like to see it.
Yeah. But yeah, Mal pulls his gun on Saffron. Hamer's there. He can't believe that Saffron lied to him. Wash flies the ship away from the trash disposal, and Saffron and Hamer, they're both at odds, and Hamer calls the feds on some kind of special ring phone that he has. You hear sirens wailing in the distance. He's like, that's them. They're here for you.
Very, not a soundproof room they're in. Like very nice. So this scene has a lot of interesting stuff in it. Yolanda's like trying to win him over, and then she doesn't. And Hamer says, it's a weird thing where she comes down on him like, you're such a fool. You're such a patsy. You're getting stole from. Because Mal tells him, oh, no, I'm just here to steal this thing before he threw it away. Which I love.
Which is crazy. Which he's here to steal the thing. And then Hamer just does not pay attention to him at all after that.
That's a rich person thing. It's like, I'll just get another. That's not what he's worried about. This lady that disappeared 6 years ago is back. I thought it was crazy that Mal came back into the room after dumping the trash. I was like, just keep going. Let her, let them deal with that. Like, you don't need her anymore. And he tried to like talk her down, and he pulls the gun on her. But then Hamer said, she's like, this is a quote that she says to Hamer. I'm not the patsy getting stole from. If you had half a brain, you would have called the feds as soon as you saw me. And then that's when he does the ring thing. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did. I called them as soon as I saw you because I knew if you came back, it wasn't for me. It was going to be for some type of heist. And I was like, yes, that makes sense, because it makes no sense where he sees her, hugs her, and it's like, thank you, random guy, for bringing her back. Because I was like, how did you bring her back, but then you got into this room? Like, that's not how you drop somebody off. So
well, I guess that she would know where his room was.
That's not his room. Like, that's just like, that's the room where he keeps all of his expensive stuff. That's not like, hey, I came back to the planet and I'm coming to find you. You would like land on that planet and be like, where's Hamer? Where's Doron? Where's my husband? Like, not, hey, let me go to the gallery with this strange guy. No. So when
I thought that it was like his bedroom.
No,
I could have sworn
not
that
at
I
all.
saw a bed like in the background.
No.
All right. But yeah, I love that she's like trying to get him, seduce him to call the cops off. She's like, come on, don't do that.
And then we get, well, she does that afterwards, but then we get her saying, after she finds out that he's actually called the feds, she goes, and this leads us to a commercial break. She goes, men.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest use of that line for me, because she just said he'd be dumb to not call the feds. He said he called the feds, and then she's like, ugh, men. And I just didn't get what they were going for with that.
Yeah.
Like, is that just something men do? Call the cops on women that are trying to rob them and pretend it to be someone else? And like what? Like you can definitely do that. Like a guy does something dumb and go like, men, fine.
Yeah.
Here, I'm like,
this was actually pretty smart.
Yeah, and you just a minute ago said he was dumb for not calling the feds when he first saw you. He did. I don't know. But then the next scene is her trying to convince him to call off the feds, which is insane.
Yeah. And then tries to seduce him, and he's like, no, idiot. And then she's like, all right. And then she just kicks him in the head.
She loves that spin kick, man.
Yeah. It's a good move. Looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope that he could see that coming. It takes a while to wind up a spin kick.
Yeah. Especially for as like brutal and violent of a man this guy supposedly is.
I was very confused by that. Because is he or is he not?
I think he is, but not with his wife. I mean, he seems like very like high up and orders people to like armies to like wipe out cities.
Well, she's an unreliable narrator. And like earlier, Mal goes, oh, we got to hurry up because, he might come back and hug us in the act or like hug us to death or something, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird. I wanted to see him do something crazy to like verify Saffron's story. But I can't trust Saffron, so I can't. I know this guy is bad enough because he's like a higher up rich alliance person, so I'm sure he's done bad things. Yeah. But in the scenario that he's laying out that we've seen, this lady left with a guy that worked with him or whatever. That guy turned up dead, and now she's back to steal from him. And it's been 6 years, and I'm like, I don't know. Like that guy's probably bad, but like I need to. I'm seeing two things, so I don't know which one. And Mal seems to be on that guy's side the whole time because Saffron didn't try to kill him and steal his shit. I mean, Saffron did do that. That guy has not tried to do that to him. So, and that guy seemed pretty chill. He didn't freak out about the gun at all.
Yeah, he seemed very chill. He was very calm, collected. He's like, I did call the cops on my ring finger here.
He didn't even call like guards that he had that was going to like take her to a basement and torture her or something. He's like, oh, I'm calling the actual cops. You're going to actual jail.
Yeah. Where they will torture you.
Yes.
But officially.
Officially.
So after Saffron kicks Hamer and knocks him out, Mal grabs her. He's like, we gotta go. And this place is crawling with cops now. And Mal beats up a bunch of cops, and he and Saffron are escaping, and they lock a cop in the estate because she's got the like thing that unlocks it, but it also can lock it. So now all these cops are locked inside. And then they're running through the garden, and they beat up some more cops, and they jump into the shuttle, and they escape, and they're debriefing, and Saffron looks kind of like shaken. She's like kind of crying, and she's like, that guy Hamer, I actually tried to love him. Like, he was a guy, like, I was trying to go clean. Like, I figured that if I had everything, because this guy's super rich and powerful, like, it wouldn't make the urges to, like, be a scumbag so prevalent. Like, it would make those urges go away. But I just couldn't be with him, though, because I was into that Heinrich guy. And Mal's like, yeah, I kind of figured. And then Saffron goes, but I didn't kill him. And Mal's like, oh, okay.
I hate that Saffron keeps bringing up that like she's not the killing type, even though she was willing to have all of Mal and his crew die to get a ship.
Yeah,
like it's like she might not do the actual stabbing, but that was murdering a whole ship full of people.
Yeah, that's the old Batman. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah, but I will also say I'm Mal Reynolds' widow. While doing high kicks to Inara. That kick was so sloppy. And it was such a
flashback.
Even them fighting the guards to get out of this planet was so bad looking.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you notice how she was running? What is up with the runs? And the running in these Whedon shows, when she's running down the hall, it is just limbs flailing.
I'll give her a pass just because she's got some enormous boobs, and that has to throw off some stuff. I'm going to be honest.
That doesn't make your arms go left and right when you're running.
I don't know. I've never had enormous, just like gigantic mommy milkers like that.
I like that you said never had, as if you will one day have.
Hey, who knows what the future holds? But dude, there's this one pole dancer that I follow who just has the most enormous boobs, and I don't know how she does some of the stuff that she does. Like, I just don't understand the weight distribution. It's got to be so difficult.
Have you seen her run? And does she run like? Here's my thing. I've seen a lot of characters run in the Buffy-verse or the Whedon-verse, and they all run strange. And I feel like it has to be a directing thing. It has to. It's too many occurrences.
Yeah, it's too many things for it to be a coincidence at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to make an excuse for.
I just noticed she like does the spinning kick and she's like a badass. She's like, yeah, I'm a dupe. You're the one knocked out on the floor. And she's just running all goofily. And I'm like, I'm supposed to believe you're going to beat up these guards?
But so yeah, Saffron starts crying and I bet you're fucking loving this, aren't you, Mal? And Mal's like, to be honest, yeah, I am kind of. And he sits down next to her. You see him putting on his little holster with his gun. And he sits down next to her. And as soon as he sat down next to her, I knew exactly what was going to happen.
As soon as she started crying, I knew what was going to happen. But I did like his line when she's crying. He says, I've seen you without your clothes on before, but I never thought I'd see you naked.
Yeah.
That would be the quote if we were doing quote unquote.
But we're not. So get that out of your heads. Listen, if you want quote unquote, go to patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy and listen to Boys Watching Angel.
Yeah.
We don't do quote unquote here.
I'll say on La Long Kiss Goodnight, there's some quote unquote. It's been leaking over into the movie podcast.
I think you just love your segment so much. Just like I love playing the Firefly theme song.
I just like good lines, Joe. I just like good lines.
It is a good line. I have heard it in other media, but good line.
But this did it first.
Yeah, for sure. But Saffron's sitting there and she wonders if she can ever change her deviant ways. And Mal's like, I think if you really want to, you can. And Mal kind of like cheers her up, gives her a old pat on the back. And then she's like, yeah, I think I can, but I can't believe how fucking stupid you are because I stole your gun from your holster so easily. And she stands up, she's pointing the gun at him. And she's like, you might be the most gullible fool I have ever met. And Mal's like, hey, yep, you got me. He's got his hands up. And then she's basically like, well, now that you've quote unquote seen me naked, I think it's only fair that I get to see you naked. I'm going to abandon you in the middle of this nowhere desert and you're going to be nude. And he's like, oh, come on, don't do that. And then she's like, no, give me your clothes, strip down. And he's like, well, I have faith in my crew to come and save me. Like, yeah, you may have got the upper hand on me, but you don't got the upper hand on my crew. Cut to the crew on Serenity. And they're like, Wash is trying to turn. And he's like, I can't turn. Somebody must have fucked with the ship.
The steering fluid's down.
So they're not going to make the rendezvous point because somebody fucked with the ship. And then we see Mal left naked in the desert as Saffron flies away on the shuttle and he's cursing her. We get a nice, copious, long view of Mal ass.
Master cheeks, as they do in the Halo show. There's a scene in that Halo show. The Halo show, not a fan of it. I watched it. I watched both seasons because it's so bad it's interesting. But at one point you see the guy's butt and they called him Master Cheeks. instead of Master Chief. And that's
Lovely.
we get a lot of Mal ass here. Like moving, jiggling, shaking. Like if you want some male Mal ass, then you got it.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised at how much butt is in this.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot.
Yeah.
He's naked for like a good maybe 4 or 5 minutes of the runtime of this episode.
Does he have a tattoo on his like hip too?
He does. Yeah.
I couldn't tell what it was.
But yeah, I couldn't tell what it was either, but definitely has one.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Also,
So
he's a little less scarred up than he should be too.
Oh yeah, for a guy that's been shot as many times as he has
that
been.
thing that went into his chest.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we then go to Saffron, and she's looking through the dumpster for that gun. And she can't find it anywhere. I can't find it. Where is this gun? And who shows up but Inara? Dressed to the fucking nines, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little face mesh covering. Looking so fucking cool, dude.
It looks like she's the person that you would visit on an off planet and she would be held hostage and is one of the concubines of a leader there or something.
Yeah.
I have a nitpick, and a nitpick is this. Well, you explain it and I'll say the nitpick.
So Inara is just like kind of sitting on a higher ground, like hill above this trash dumpster thing. And she's pointing the old-timey laser gun at Saffron, and she's like, "You looking for this?" And Saffron turns around and she's like, "Oh, shit." And Inara's like, "Oh, this thing's so old. I wonder if it still works. Let's see." And then she goes, and it short circuits. And she's like, "Oh, I guess not." And then Saffron is like, "Oh, so she doesn't even have a working gun here. I have the upper hand." Except that Inara pulls out a second gun and she's like, "But this one will work,"
Yeah.
which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And Saffron is there like, "Dude, you're not going to kill me. What you can't kill me. Just like, let me out of here. It'll be fine." And Inara's like, "Hey, I'm thinking, how about no, Scott?" And then she hits a button and the dumpster lid fucking closes on Saffron, leaving her to presumably die.
Not exactly, but I can't believe we've made Austin Powers and Borat references this episode. This is bad. This is bad podcasting.
Yeah, baby.
My wife. It's fine. You can just rate us one
All we
star.
need is
it's
an
fine.
Anchorman quote to complete the trifecta.
Oh, God.
Inara tries to shoot her with the laser gun. She goes, 60% of the time. It works every time. There you go.
There it is.
What were you about to say, though, about Inara in this scene?
She locks her in the thing, and she says, "Don't worry, the feds are going to come and pick you up soon." So she's not leaving her there to die. She will be heat exhausted by the time they get there.
I will say, I do love Saffron's last line here, where she goes, "I have a condition." You can't do this. I have a condition.
If we were doing quote unquote,
which we are not,
that would be my unquote, actually.
You didn't like that one.
It's so cheesy.
I thought it was very underhanded, which is what Saffron is.
It felt like a little tagged in joke line that you ADR in, but it wasn't like we've seen her try to be a little, she's been bad at being smooth, but yeah. If she would have said something,
is 100% ADR'd in, for sure.
If she said something like, "Companions got to stick together," or something like that, if she tried to play a game on her, but saying, "I have a condition," I don't know. That was it felt like of its time of a joke too, like.
Fair.
It's like saying, "I'm claustrophobic." Oh no. But my nitpick is we see Saffron digging through this huge dumpster, right? Trying to find this thing. Wouldn't be easy to find, it seems like. She looks like someone who's been digging through a dumpster, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did Inara get this thing and then still look clean and pristine as she does? That's my nitpick. There's no way
That's
she went into that
fucking
dumpster.
nitpick, man.
Like, did she take a shower afterwards? Because
that's a good nitpick.
Yeah.
That is a good nitpick.
It was just sitting right there on the top, just perfectly. It didn't get It didn't get rattled. There was a spaceship dropping it off.
Now that is a good nitpick. Yeah, I'll give that.
I mean, she looks so pristine.
She looks so cool, dude. Sitting up on there and just like the smarmy, smug. Oh, you mean this thing?
Again, and it's a nice double cross move that we get. I wish we had more of Inara doing stuff like this, which might come in like season 2 or 3, or as they keep going on with the series. I don't know how long the series lasts, but if it keeps going on, then I would see, oh, this is why she's a part of the team. She adds a little element. She likes to get a little dangerous. She's playing both sides of like, she doesn't really love the alliance, but she's definitely wants a stable job, you know? Like, I'll be down for that. And that's kind of where we are here. Or she just likes money. I don't know. Give me something, but yeah.
Yeah. So then we go to a scene for a B-story plot thing that I forgot about at this point in the episode, where Jayne wakes up in the infirmary.
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to come back to that, and they really spaced it out.
Yeah. Outer spaced it out. Firefly.
What's the sound of me walking away? That
just do the old AIM door close. So Jayne wakes up in the infirmary and Simon is with him. And Jayne is like, what the hell's going on here? What happened to me? And Simon's like, well, you got electrocuted and you fell pretty nastily on your spine. So I drugged you up because I didn't want you trying to move to make it worse, because you're going to have some pretty intense bruising. You could be like really hurt and you need to just like lay still for a little bit. And Jayne's like, okay.
He's got him paralyzed. Yeah, he's like, can you move your arms and legs? And he can't. And I was like, yes, Simon's going to go real dark here.
Yep. That's what I was 100% expecting. And then Simon goes, so, how much did they offer you to sell us out on Ariel? And Jayne's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Golrammit. And Simon goes, I know that you sold us out. And right now, you are a patient of mine. And he takes out like a syringe and he drugs up Jayne. He injects something into Jayne's arm. He's like, you're a patient of mine. And I would never harm you. Like in these 4 walls, I would never do anything to harm you. That's my oath. You can trust me. And Jayne's like looking around like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. What's going on? And he's like, you can trust me that I will take care of you. And I will do my best to bring you back up to tip-top shape, because that's what I do. I am a doctor. And I want you to have that same trust in me. And I want to be able to trust you, and I want you to be able to trust me. You got it? And then Jayne's like, yeah, sure. And then Simon's like, okay. As long as we have that agreement, we'll be cool. And I want you to think about that next time you think about selling us out. And then he just kind of leaves. And I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, I felt that way too. One thing I thought he was going to do, I thought he was going to be like, how much did you get paid? And then he was going to say some number that would seem way too big or way too small, because I have no idea how much anything is. And then I thought he would say, you know what? I'm going to pay you that amount. I'm going to pay you anytime or he says, next time someone offers you some money, I'm going to offer you more. That way I know that you can always come to me and I will pay higher or something. Like, I don't know how he gets his money, where he stashed it, but it'd be interesting if he just has money. I don't know, whatever. He can like access his dad's credit. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
I know they don't want to do that, because then if they have money issues, it feels like, what do they have to do a job for? But as we've seen with Jayne, highest bidder wins. So I wanted Simon to be like, I'll be the highest bidder. Or He has to really threaten that, like, I will kill you. But that doesn't really help your case because then that makes more of Jayne getting rid of you. Like, he's like, I tried to get rid of you when your sister slashed my chest. So threatening me would be even more of a reason to turn on you.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that he was going to threaten him.
Yeah.
When Jayne is kind of like avoiding answering Simon's question and then Simon like injects him with something, I thought that was going to be like truth serum or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This isn't a science fiction fantasy, Joe.
I thought that he might pull out some other kind of syringe like this can kill somebody this quickly and like blah, blah, blah.
I think this is threatening to him because he says something like, in your line of work, you're going to be on the table and under my knife a lot. So you're going to need me to be here.
Yeah.
But it's a threat that's a non-threat, you know, the way he's saying it. It just...
I did like that he said something about like, I don't want us to have to each be sleeping with one eye open.
Yeah.
Like, because he could, like Simon could just like sneak in, drug him and just fucking be done with him.
Jayne is afraid of River.
Yeah.
They wanted her locked in a room because of what she did last time. So, and Kaylee hasn't even told them about River's blind shooting. Like if Jayne finds that out, he might just kick her out of the ship and then dive out himself so that he doesn't get hit with a wrench from Mal.
Yeah. So after Simon goes on this long monologue about like, you know, I want you to trust me. I don't want to have to sleep with one eye open. Like we need to be a team here. And he's like, you got that? And Jayne's like, yeah, I got it. So then Simon leaves. And then River slinks around a corner. And she's like, besides, I could kill you with my brain. And then Jayne is just left there. Like River leaves and Jayne is just left there on the table like, oh God.
My question is, can she?
Yeah, who knows?
Can she do that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
She might be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, Jayne might think she might be able to, and that's all that it needs to be true.
I don't know that she can't.
She might be able to. I think she might be able to. She can feel everything.
She can feel everything. She can read a little girl's mind and hear about the history. She can read a bunch of people. She can tell what people did in the past. Like why not?
Yeah. She can tell specifics about people.
Yeah.
You killed that other head patron.
Yeah. Like that's not just like a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, she might be able to. Who knows? She's fucking Charles Xavier or something.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's that scene with Jayne and River. So then we go back to Mal naked in the desert. And he says, man, this went perfectly according to plan. Because Inara shows up and she's like, wow, this really did go well. And Mal is standing like so proudly. He's in like Superman pose. Hands on his hips, just like dick swinging out.
Yeah, helicoptering it, just like swinging it around, like he's the kid in Kids. You hear that
reference. Like little thwack, thwack, thwack. He's just like smacking his dick on his thighs.
What was that toy? That thing that you would do? Like I know they have it in like Karate Kid or something where they like. It's like that drum that has the two things, and you rub it between your hands, and it. Like,
man, I have no idea what it's called.
Yeah. And then there was like those things in the 80s or 90s, those little clappers. They would like these plastic things that you would swing and they would go back and forth and clap. Yeah, that's what we're pretending that Mal is doing.
Yeah. But Inara's like, yeah, everything went super smooth. She's in the dumpster. And he's like, nice to have you part of the team there, Inara. You really did your job well, or some shit like that. I didn't write down the specifics of this conversation.
Yeah.
But Serenity shows up. Mal walks on, just dick swinging out. He's like, all right, everybody, good job, good work. Let's go sell this thing. And everyone's just like looking at him like, bro, you are naked.
Yeah.
And he just does not care. He puts his arms up, puts them behind his head, and he's like, his hands behind his head, and he's like, good to be back on Serenity.
I can't wait to see the song lyrics for this one. I mean, he's in front of Kaylee. He's just having a full conversation with Kaylee just out. And she's just like, good to have you back, Captain. With her big grin. And I was like,
everybody. And he's also standing so close to people.
Yeah. And man, just sitting on that rock must have been tough too. Cheeks out like that.
Oh yeah.
But it is wild for a person that's been calling Inara a whore this much to be like that.
I think he just wanted to flaunt his stuff in front of Inara. He wanted to show her what she's missing out on.
He's an exhibitionist, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I hope the next episode starts with him just walking around the ship nude. He's like, I got used to it. It's just a nudist episode.
He's just like, I finally felt true to myself.
Yeah.
Just, something about the cotton on me just did not feel right.
What if this show ends with just an orgy for the finale?
I hope so.
You're like, oh, that's why I got canceled.
Oh, that's why this didn't air in the United States.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, good point. This, just cheeks out. This is a pretty good episode, but it's interesting.
No, it's a fun one.
Yeah,
I gotta say, the whole this all went according to plan. Like everyone had to really act their ass off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really buy it. Inara had to be acting when she's talking to Zoe and she knows that Saffron's watching and all of this.
It makes sense. I think all that stuff adds up. I'll go back to that. I brought up the petty line. The petty line is such an audience plant. They have that argument about being petty. And then we cut to him bringing her onto the ship. And you're like, oh, he brought her onto the ship to spite Inara. Right. So for us, the audience, we think that. But what had to have happened is she said, oh, you don't do any big jobs. And he's like, you know what? I got a big job. And then he had to explain to Inara then what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, let's pretend and do all this stuff. Then when she comes into that scene and she's like, oh, don't trust her. And he's like, oh, it's something petty. When he says that to her, it's an inside joke between those two. But it doesn't reference all the people around the table also know what the plan is. So when he says that petty line to her, it wouldn't sting her because he'd already told her what the plan is. So it's a line just for us to reinforce that he's doing it for the petty thing that we saw earlier because we're in the dark. And it's fine. I'm just saying it's one of those little writing cheats where it wouldn't make sense for him to do that to the character because the character already knows. And it wouldn't be good for Saffron because Saffron doesn't know the whole petty conversation they had. So it does nothing for her. She just hears him say that. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's so much going on in this episode that I don't know when Mal would have alerted the crew to this alternate plan.
Before he brought her on the ship.
Plan is?
Before she brought her in. Yeah, because Inara says that. We had this before we brought you on that crate. So between him saying that whole petty argument with Inara, he came up with that plan.
Then he goes over to the other people and he's like, hey, Saffron's got a plan.
He told Saffron, he told the whole crew before he brought her onto the ship. So when Wash is at the table and he's like, what is she doing here? Boom, he's pretending. Zoe, when she punches her, she's pretending. She already knows. They all know at the table when they're hearing the plan. Everyone knows from the beginning. They say that.
So what are you saying is the order of events? So start from the beginning. Mal is on the planet on Monty's planet with Saffron. He leaves her there and then comes back, puts her in a crate, then brings her back on the ship?
No, they didn't leave. They still had to load up all those crates that were on that planet. Remember he goes to talk to Inara?
Yeah.
And they have all those crates? It's all the stuff on the planet that they're fighting around. That's all the stuff that they're loading up on the ship. So when he talks to Inara, he comes up with a plan. Between him talking to Inara and her being in that cut where he opens the crate that she's in, that's when he told everybody. So before the first commercial break.
So Saffron would have had to tell Mal the entire plan that she had before he puts her in the crate?
No, she tells the plan to everybody at the table.
well, how can he tell everybody at the table what their alternate plan is if Mal doesn't know what Saffron's plan is?
Oh, I mean, he had to tell them the alternate plan during. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, when did he tell them that they're going to drop off this and this? I think the alternate plan was really just Inara. I'm going to tell you that we're going to hear the plan. Your whole goal is to be like, you're leaving the ship to go meet with people, which we knew wasn't true. Well, I guess it could be because they're going to that planet, but like she has to leave and he knows that she's going to overhear Zoe. That whole thing, Inara has never once talked to Zoe. That should be the one dead giveaway, right? They have never once had a conversation.
Yeah.
So they're having a conversation. Zoe's like smiling and talking to her, and he wants her to. They want to overhear that. They like stage that whole scene. I think he has to tell her some stuff in between. Like, you're right. He would have to tell her some stuff
because
in between.
Like when Mal opens the crate to let Saffron out, he goes, "Let's hear this plan of yours."
Yes.
So he didn't know the plan.
No, but
she's on the ship.
But then they all know that they're going to that they don't trust her and that she's going to double cross them, that Inara's going to have this extra layer. Or maybe only Inara knows the extra plan. Maybe, because Inara says they all played their part well. Yeah,
I mean, when Mal comes back on the ship, everybody's like, ha, we pulled one over on Saffron or whatever. Nobody asks where Saffron is.
Here's what I think. I think he at least told them, she's got a plan. We're going to play along like we're following her lead. I want you guys to be mad at me, which they would rightfully be. He's like, I want you guys to play it up like I'm doing something stupid, but meanwhile, know that I'm not trusting. Because it does tie into this second to last Angel episode we're dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
I think this one does it a little better, maybe. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I think there is a little bit of leeway in between things when they got told stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think once she lays out the plan, he has to be like, okay. I think between when we see Zoe and Inara talking, that's when he told Inara, okay, this is the plan. You leave and meet us at the place. And that's why she had that line of, oh, don't tell me any of the details. I don't want to know. It's like, so like, obvious.
You hear that, Saffron? I don't know any details of the plan.
You know that, Kaylee? Don't just tell me all the bad stuff that happened while I was out companioning.
Yeah. But that is a wrap for Trash. I thought it was a pretty good episode.
Pretty good. I like when I think they found their footing of like planning heists, going out on heist, double cross. Yeah. I didn't expect Saffron to be back. Christina Hendricks is fun in this.
I gotta say this too. Christina Hendricks is like acting circles around a lot of the cast of this show.
I think her ploys to get people to fall for her feminine wiles doesn't work as well this episode because you already know the game and she kind of plays it a little more like obvious. I meant to say, I really do like Simon's acting now. Like I liked his acting in the med bay scene. Like I don't know, they finally grounded him a little bit and he's not just like, oh, I'm a river, why? He's like actually has like, when he gets, I like his edge now. Jayne is classic, just doing his thing. Mal is pretty consistent, I would say.
Yeah, Mal's pretty decent. Jayne,
he's good for the one-liners that he's good for. I mean, that like, I got a question. Like that's what he's there for. Oh, free soup.
Yeah.
He does what he needs to do. Kaylee, I can't believe Kaylee couldn't tell that the ship was injured. I'm sure she couldn't like touch the wall of the ship and be like, something's wrong.
She's like River, but for engines only.
Yeah.
She can feel everything the ship feels. But I thought that Christina Hendricks was great in it.
I like her better in the Mrs. Reynolds, but she's good.
Got anything else to say about Trash, Vance?
Nope.
Next episode is titled The Message. I'm predicting a book episode.
Ooh, okay.
That seems like some kind of biblical thing. The Message. He's going to be... he's going to tie in their heist with the Bible somehow. It's going to be their framing device. He's going to quote a Bible thing at the beginning, and at the end, he's going to quote a Bible thing at the end, and it's going to be like, oh, that's the lesson that we learned in this heist as well.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely miss on these predictions. So I'm going to go with they get a message and they have to try to decipher it to figure out the job they're doing. It's a lot of deciphering. Right.
That's a good one too. I like this.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but yeah.
They're both going to be wrong. Well, everybody, that is a wrap for our episode on Trash. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought about it and send in those lyrics that summarize Trash. We'll see who wins next week. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy. We're finishing up Angel. Finishing it up. Not much left for Angel. We also have the Long Kiss Goodnight podcast coming out on Christmas. So be on the lookout for that. Instagram and TikTok at boyswatchingbuffy. boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us, and we will shout you out. We got that Amazon wish list. We've got merch. Join the Discord. I think I already said that. Yep, I did. All right, I'm just rambling now. So stay tuned next time for when we talk about The Message.
Sure, we've had our spats. Maybe I made some bad decisions along the way.
No, you are a tweaked one, you are.
But face it, hubby, I'm really hot.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.